Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great. Today I am here with an interesting topic of linguistics, Pidgin and Creole. First of all, let's start with the basic definition of Pidgin and Creole. Pidgin. A pidgin or contact language is a restricted and extended language which arises with an urgency of communication to serve specific needs between social groups that are ethically and linguistically different from each other. Pidgin is basically a language that is developed by the people of different communities having different native languages working together at the same place or for the purpose of trade. They need a common language in order to contact and communicate with each other, so they developed their own language, which is known as Pidgin. And in Pidgin, there are two different groups. One of these groups is in more dominant position than the other. The less dominant group is the one which develops the Pidgin. Now coming to Creole, the definition of Creole is pretty basic and easy. I've tried my best to explain it in simple words. So if we simply talk about the idea of Creole, Creole is a pidgin that has become the first language of a generation. This means when pidgin is being used as a native language, it is termed as Creole. Like every word in linguistics, word pidgin and Creole has their origin from other languages. Let's talk about their origin. Talking about pidgin origin, we come to know that word pidgin is used to be coming from Chinese. It was basically an attempt by the Chinese people to pronounce an English word business during trade in the Far East. Historically, a pidgin arose in a colonial situation where the representative of colonial power, official or tradesmen, come in contact with the natives. Now let's put some light on the origin of Creole. The origin of Creole is a mixture of various adaptations consisting of different languages. The origin of Creole is an adaptation from Spanish word criollo, which means home or local, from Portuguese criar, which means to bring up, and from Latin creo, which means to create. Whenever we are discussing a topic, one of the major portions that is always the core center of that topic is its characteristics. Moving toward the characteristics of pidgin, we can talk about following feature. The very first characteristic is no native speaker yet, which means that pidgin cannot be the first language or L1 or the dominant language, as we have already discussed previously in the lecture. The second point is that the main purpose of pidgin is just communication, no matter it is used by 100 or million of people at a time. Moving towards the third point, it can never be a language representing some group. This means that pidgin can never be one of the national or international language around the world. Only L1 represents some group. For example, people of Britain and America are termed as English because English is their first language. Let's take another example of Onion Pidgin. Onion Pidgin is a language that was spoken in Indonesia in the back years. Hardly less than 400 people could speak that language, but Indonesian people are never represented by it. Whereas the official language of Indonesia is Indonesian, which is being spoken by 94% of their population. Now let's come to the point 4. The term multilingualism here refers to more than two languages, a place where more than two languages are being spoken. L1 will always be the dominant language, and pidgin can never dominate L1 due to its political, social, and economical importance. Here we can take the previous example of Indonesian language, which is the official language of Indonesia. Due to its political importance and its social importance, 94% people in Indonesia speak Indonesian. That's why it is the national language of Indonesia. So the only or main function of pidgin is trading. Before proceeding towards the characteristics of Creole, I hope the characteristics of pidgin are clear to everyone. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment sections. Now let's start with the characteristics of Creole. Number 1. Pidgin adopted as a native language. This point elaborates that when a pidgin becomes the national language of a country or nation, it is termed as Creole. In other words, when Pidgin becomes the mother tongue of a generation, it becomes Creole. The next main point is nativization, the process in which a Pidgin is being transferred from one generation to the next generation, and the second generation starts using it as their L1 or first language. It is termed as nativization. Creole, as described in its origin, is often classified as English, Spanish, and French based. For example, Manglish is a Creole which includes Malaysian English. Similarly, Quebec French is a Creole spoken in Canada. As it becomes the mother tongue, hence the speakers of such language are fluent in their languages, due to which speech has become faster. Creole is basically a diversity of Pidgin. In Creole, the vocabulary of the language increases, new words are being added to the language, hence increasing the morphology and syntax. Due to the expansion in the words and sentences, there is an expansion in the pronunciations as well. There are two main terms that are discussed every time we talk about Pidgin in Creole. These terms are Pidginization and Creolization. The term Pidginization is often considered as a hard concept to be grasped, as different linguists have described this term in different ways and with the use of unlimited technologies. So in this lecture, I have tried my best to define this term in simple words. So let's begin with its definition. Pidginization. Pidginization is a linguistic process that occurs when people who do not speak the same language come into contact. It involves the simplification of the contacting language and the exploitation of linguistic common denominators. Let's redefine it in simple words. When a group of people come in contact for the purpose of trade or other communication, they develop a language. The sole purpose of this language is to communicate and send their message, regardless of the fact whether the tenses are correct or not. The syntactical order of the sentences they are using are according to their rules or not. The words they are saying are correctly pronounced or not. Hence, they only use language to communicate, exploiting the linguistic denominators. The term linguistic denominator here refers to the grammar, such as tenses and voices. Now let's talk about the concept of creolization. The concept of creolization, on the other hand, is simple and quite easy. It is defined as the process in which a Pidgin expands its vocabulary, means new words are added to Pidgin, and structured in order to express the range of meanings, hence expansion in its semiotics, and serve as the range of function required to make it perfect for the first language. I hope the concept of Creole and Pidgin is clear now. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to pull the bell icon for more interesting videos. Thank you.